Welcome to Hoffman's Hot Seat. I'm Tom Hoffman with One-to-One Media. Joining me today is Mark Selcow, President of Merced Systems. Today we'll be discussing approaches that customer-facing organizations can take to generate better customer experiences. Mark, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Tom. It's a pleasure to be here.
What are some of the top challenges that business leaders face in their efforts to have representatives from different customer-facing divisions provide customers with a consistent experience?
We see large organizations, especially consumer-facing organizations, struggling to get alignment across their various customer-facing functions. In some cases, that's made further complex by the fact that they have overlapping channels as well as multiple groups within their own company. So they seek alignment to make sure that their end customer is having a consistent experience and a consistent brand message from their company. There are other examples of challenges as well. Sometimes we see organizations where process owners are different than operating function owners. So the website, the IVR, ATM machines, and all of the messages that can be delivered and the objectives people pursue through those processes and channels differ from what they're trying to achieve through their people organization. That can be a problem of alignment as well. Of course, underlying all of the misalignment is often data. In a world where data are proliferating, there's never been as much information being generated on a daily basis as there is today in these large organizations. It can be a challenge for organizations to understand how they're doing, how they might make change to achieve the alignment that they want, and how to prioritize the changes that they make to either increase sales, cross-sell and upsell more effectively, take out cost through a reduction initiative, or focus on what everyone seems to want to focus on lately, customer retention and customer loyalty improvement.
What are some steps that business leaders can take to address some of these issues?
There are some easy steps and some hard steps that people can undertake based on my experience. Some of the easiest things, of course, are to attack the data and turn that data into information that reveals where gaps in performance exist and where misalignment exists by function. Organizations need one version of the truth in the information so they can see which channels are effective, which channels aligned, and which ones aren't. That can be successfully attacked. Second thing people can do is make sure that the incentives and the rewards are in place so that the change that they're seeking actually occurs. The third thing, which can be one of the more difficult to enable, is to move some of these processes under common owners, or to make sure that at the very top of the organization, the owners of these disparate channels, disparate functions are closely aligned. We certainly see a trend where organizations are moving IVR from a comms organization or website from a Marcoms group closer to or even under operations to make sure that there's a coherent and consistent strategy around how they want customers to navigate the organization and receive a common experience. We have one customer in financial services that has a customer segmentation-driven operational strategy, meaning they used to be organized around operational functions and sub-functions. Now they've reorganized their organization around customer segments, where important segments and sub-segments have common ownership inside the organization to deliver and make sure that those customer segments that are high priority have a seamless experience with common goals, similar measurement tools and measurement culture, and similar incentives and rewards. These are some ideas that I've seen people successfully undertake.
How can organizations apply coaching, including the use of software-based coaching tools, to better optimize the customer experience?
An emerging trend in people-intensive customer-facing operations is to focus on changing the behavior of those who sell or service customers. And in my work at Merced Systems with some of the largest, most successful brands, they treat coaching as a first-class concept, but view it with the other major levers for behavior change. One, of course, is self-correction of the employee, and to achieve that, everybody needs to have their own scorecard with the relevant personalized metrics and context. So organizations that invest in dynamic, personalized goals and very highly tailored scorecards for individuals can move the needle on self-correction. The second, which I've talked about, is incentives and rewards, and making sure that the right behaviors and the right results get rewarded, whether with commission or bonus or prize or recognition. Obviously, a time-tested method for achieving behavior change. And the third, I'll focus most of my comments here is coaching and development. And the reason I think this is emerging in importance is because it is one of the highest ROI levers for behavior change. But a number of things have to happen for organizations to realize the benefit of this lever. They need to have a framework for coaching. Most organizations take peanut butter approach, spread across the bread. I'm going to coach everybody on my sales team once a month. I'm going to coach everybody in my tech support team twice a month. I'm going to coach everybody in my collections organization 3 times a month. In our experience, that's suboptimal. A framework that has a segmented model of coaching people based on where they fall in a distribution, based on what the particular behavior or gap is, and some read into coaching sensitivity leads far superior results. So a framework needs to be underpinned with data, and it needs to be made easy for the supervisors. That's number one. Number two, organizations that have realized great yield from coaching, let managers be managers. That means let them spend the majority of their time coaching and developing their people. I've seen countless data from third parties like major consulting firms to our own data from our work with our customers. And there's always a strongly positive correlation between coaching time, coaching frequency, and movement on the critical dependent variable, whether it's sales, whether it's customer loyalty, whether it's cost reduction. Yet, most organizations may not even know, let alone have a plan to improve the ratio of time that people spend on coaching versus administrative tasks. So let the supervisors be supervisors is number two. And then third is the compliance with a coaching program and framework. The compliance with the amount of time spent coaching needs to be there. So there needs to be a measurement culture and a management culture as people coach the coaches. When people adhere to these concepts, the results can be very profound. We have one telecommunications customer who put together an outlier management model where people who were at the tails were interacted with differently. The top tail were asked, what are they doing? And those became best practices that were disseminated in the organization. The bottom tail were more rapidly put on a plan because those often were the people who were having poor service experiences. We have another customer who's built a comprehensive defect measurement model where supervisors can observe any metric that comes their way and determine if it should be assigned to a process owner or whether it should be assigned to a service representative in their organization. And they disposition it and then coach based on the problem. That's a total quality management type intervention where coaching is at the center. And then, of course, we have some customers who are seeking to achieve the alignment we talked about in the beginning of this discussion across multiple functions. So they've built a coaching cadence and a coaching philosophy in their retail selling environment as well as in their phones environment. We have another who's done the same in their back office functions as well as in their phones environment, and we have yet another who's done that in their field technicians and installation staff because they want everyone in the organization to be given consistent feedback from their supervisor no matter what group they're in. Because at the end of the day, it's the customer or the consumer who calls, has a truck come into installation in their house, or walks into a retail store. They expect to have a seamless and common experience, and coaching can help achieve that.
To learn more about relationship strategy, visit www.one-to-one-media.com.